Hi everyone, welcome to another US Gamer stream. Hi, I'm Jeremy Parrish, and I'm playing Final Fantasy II, which the cool people in the audience know is Final Fantasy IV. I'm trying to get the actual Twitch stream to load for me to confirm that it is indeed working. But, there we go, now it's live. Okay, and I see people showing up in the chat, so hello and welcome. This is, once again, one of US Gamer's Super NES 25th Anniversary Sexy Spectacular Blowout streams, in which the US Gamer team voted for its 25 favorite Super NES games in honor of the 25th anniversary, and now I'm playing them, counting down from 25 to 1. And this is game number 21. It is Final Fantasy II, and even though this version of Final Fantasy IV is sort of messed up, has a terrible translation, is missing some game features, is overly simplified, it's still a timeless classic. So, I am kind of cruising through the introduction here. I apologize if you are wanting to read the text. I've played this game so many times that I have trouble actually just sitting through the dialogue because it's just like, okay, get on with it. I want to kill some monsters and stuff. Turn into a paladin. Not to spoil anything. But I can give you the rundown. Cecil here is the hero, but he's kind of an anti-hero. He's the Dark Knight, and not in a cool way like Batman, but more like in a I siphon people's souls to empower my sword kind of way. So he's a conflicted guy. He wants to be a good guy, but he's kind of a bad guy, and he kind of is in cahoots with the Bad Kingdom, and it's basically bad. So Cecil feels bad. And you can see him hanging his head in despair even though he's only 16 pixels high. That's emotion, folks. Anyway, this is all playing out in a kind of automated fashion. And I think he uses abilities that he doesn't actually have in the game, or did they swap them out? I don't know, I'll have to pay more attention. Yeah, so anyway, Cecil's sad because he's bad, and he did terrible things to some innocent wizards, stole their crystal, he's giving it back to the king. There's a parable for America's adventurism overseas in here somewhere, but that's really more for the Deus Ex Mankind Divided team to speak to. Anyway, so Cecil marauds, and now that he's done marauding, he's back, and what is this guy? He'd be the daimyo. He's like the retainer, the royal retainer, Baigan. He's like, yo, thanks for stealing this crystal from people and committing murder for us. The king's pretty happy now. Let's go see the king. Anyway, this cutscene plays out automatically if you don't have any save files on your cartridge, and this played out automatically for me. So I think that means the battery on my cartridge is dead, which means whatever I do today will be lost to the ether. That's the challenge of playing on a 25-year-old video game cartridge. So next time I play this, I'll have to see all of this all over again, which is always exciting. Mike Wasson in the chat mentions that the easy mode version we got here in America does have some benefits besides nostalgia. You can breeze through it in a weekend. That is true. The first time I played Final Fantasy II, I rented it and had it for like 2 days and got to Zeramus, and he destroyed me. But the fact is, like, even though I barely understood RPGs at the time, I just crushed everything in my path because the game is crazy easy. And then I lost to the final boss because I was not prepared. And I think that instilled in me for many years this sense of dread of final bosses. And, oh, it looks like Cecil's on the outs. But fortunately, his friend Kine. I guess it's Kane, but there was a version that called him Kine. Kane, who looks almost exactly like him, is like, hey, I've got my bro Cecil's back. Let's go hang out in the Village of Mist. They got the package. So it looks like Cecil's been demoted, is no longer commander of the fleet, and Kane is breaking the fourth wall by telling me to push the A button. So here we go. The adventure begins. Doo-doo-doo. I'm talking to dudes. Wow, that was kind of grim. Treasure your life. So there we've got Tweedledee and Tweedledum. One of them thinks something's up with the king, and the other's like, no, I trust this psychopathic murderer implicitly. In case you get lost in the only path available to you, that guy told you that that the one place you can go to is to the north. Oops, was that east or west? Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Now I'm going to get lost. I just got interrobanged. Let's see if this dude will let me into his storehouse. He will. Thanks, dude. This is a helpful mechanic for later. So Final Fantasy II, I think, made the list for obvious reasons. There have been some games on our 25 favorite Super NES list that I kind of was a little confused about. And I think, you know, at the bottom of the list you had games where if one person voted urgently enough for them, they could show up, but we're starting to get into the place where we're getting votes from multiple people. Final Fantasy 4/2 was 1, the first great RPG for Super NES, and 2, the first great Final Fantasy game. I mean, I liked Final Fantasy 1, and we never got 2 and 3 over here on NES, but they have their merits. But Final Fantasy 4 was the first time that Final Fantasy really stood out and had its own unique character besides being, you know, like an answer to Dragon Quest that drew heavily on Dungeons and Dragons. There's a very heavy narrative element to this game. Like, look, I just lost control of my character so that the little weird dwarf guy could talk to me. I guess he's not really a dwarf. He's Seed, whatever, however you want to pronounce it. Anyway, he's ugly, but he flies a ship called the Enterprise because this series is not shy about lifting things from popular culture. Anyway, I'm tired and I'm going to bed. Oh, she changed the sheets for me. It's good to have help. It's good to be a ruthless oppressor working directly in the service of a king whose lust for power knows no bounds. Oh, Cecil's having another crisis of faith. But he's vowed to be good. And now here's Rosa, his girlfriend, appearing in the middle of the night in his bedroom, who is no doubt going to strain his vow to be good. Although, you know, I think they're both adults, they're both consenting, so nothing they do is bad. Although Rosa's writing is pretty bad. She's basically just like this kind of wet sponge who follows around Cecil and gets into trouble. And, oh, well, no, she does insult him. So she calls him a whimpering whiner. That's good. Way to go, Rosa. You stick it to that whiner. So it may look like she's wearing lingerie, like this kind of pink leotard and a gauzy white cape, but no, that's her battle garb, because she's a girl, and it's a Japanese RPG. It's an RPG, period. It's either armor bikinis or lingerie, or both, combination. And they're off. I was supposed to go to the city of Baron, but I didn't read the instructions. And I didn't talk to everyone in the castle, so I hope no one had anything important. I don't think they did. And anyway, this is Final Fantasy II, the easy type version, so it doesn't really matter. But here we go. This is how you know it's Final Fantasy. I really miss when the series did this. They had the little prologue with the prelude music playing over it. This is a tradition I would like to see come back. Maybe that's why they delayed Final Fantasy 15 until November, so they can put one of these in. Oh, wasn't that great? I kept my mouth shut so you can enjoy the music. So majestic. I'm sure so many nerds have played that in their weddings. Anyway, here I am, a tiny little man on a tiny little map, walking a tiny little step at a time. Why won't someone attack me? Attack me! There we go, thank you. Look at that zoom effect. Wow, Mode 7 is the best. So, of course, as I mentioned, this is a different version than they got in Japan. In Japan, Final Fantasy IV carried on the tradition of Final Fantasy and was pretty tough. I mean, Final Fantasy III for Famicom was just absolutely horrible at the final dungeon. Like, it's an act of cruelty. Final Fantasy II is no cakewalk either. So this game was it's pretty tough. If you've played any of the re-releases or remakes, then you're more familiar with the way this game was designed originally. But when it came to America, they said, oh, Americans, they haven't really enjoyed our RPGs too much. So, whoa, something spooky's happening. Oh, my city is like, hey, don't call us, we'll call you. So why did I come back from my city in an airship if there was a gateway? Whatever, the hell with it. Anyway, Square was like, yeah, Americans are scared of hard RPGs, so let's dumb this one way down. So they defanged it, and the result was this, a game missing a lot of its unique features, and generally not being that difficult. Which I guess is okay. Like, it was a good introductory RPG. Youch! But, you know, then they turned around and released Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, a game designed entirely, specifically for Americans. And it's like baby's first RPG. So they really underestimated our abilities, I think. And then they decided not to release Final Fantasy V here because it was too complicated with all the job system stuff. We got Breath of Fire instead, even though that wasn't even a Square Enix or Squaresoft RPG. Yeah. It wasn't until Final Fantasy VI, aka 3, I'm not going to sit through that dance, that we finally got a game designed the way it was intended to be played. I think, what is that? Is that a treasure chest? Yes. I knew there was something over there. And there. So I do, you know, I think this game works really well in that sort of anatomy of games sense, where it does a lot of little things to sort of introduce you in this safe starting area. Like, if you happen to walk into this water, you'll discover the hidden passages that you'll find throughout the games, and if you talk to that dude with the treasure chests, you'll discover how doors open in dungeons and so forth. So there's some good stuff in here to kind of lead players along through discovery, even if they have never played an RPG before. I know there is grass back up here that I can get to, and there's stuff inside of it, but whatever. I'm loaded for bear. Let's just go kill some stuff, shall we? And I'm playing the no saves version because, well, let's see what happens. Alright, so it says I've saved, but like I said, I think the battery on this cartridge is dead, so I need to talk to someone who has a CR30 whatever the hell battery and a basic comprehension of how soldering irons work, because I don't. I guess I'm supposed to go to the northwest per that one guy's instructions. So in a lot of ways, Final Fantasy IV is sort of the culmination of ideas that appeared in both Final Fantasy II and III, the actual Japanese games that we never saw in America. It's very story-heavy, but all the characters are... they have jobs, abilities based on jobs that were in Final Fantasy III, which sort of introduced the job system alongside Dragon Quest III. So it's kind of like this fan fiction where, oh crap, I forgot his name, Takashi Tokita sat down and said, what if I took all these character ideas that existed in Final Fantasy III and made a story out of them? And so he did. And you can tell that I'm not playing this on an emulator because, check that out, it's fog, and you can see through it, and people aren't like, hey, how do I get through the cave? It's all fog and I can't get through. This was showing off the Super NES's alpha masking, the transparency effect that it had. So yeah, even though this game looks kind of simple, it was still very much a showcase for the console. You had a little bit of the mosaic effects in Mode 7, and then you had the transparencies, and of course you had the music. Just listen to that. Whoop. Okay, listen to it now. I have my TV down and I can't hear that, but I still know it's awesome. Like, I just look at this and I can hear the music in my head. Such a great soundtrack. Like, this was the first chance Nobuo Uematsu really had to sort of stretch out and create music that worked the way he wanted it to. Because of course the Super NES's sound chip was really different than any other sound chip on any other console to date. It didn't generate sound, it used this sampling technology where you had sounds embedded in the cartridge and then it would decode those and play back the samples, and it created this really unique sound, and this is one of the first games that really took advantage of that. Oh, hi encounter rate! And I do mean hi. So one of the many changes that were made for this version of the game is that Cecil as a Dark Knight, Cecil, whatever, is kind of useless. He has his ability to fight and use an item, and that's it. In the Japanese version, he had a couple of extra abilities. He had like a dark wave attack, where he could fire a beam of energy at enemies, and it would drain, I think, 1/10 of his max health. So he was, a Dark Knight sacrificing his blood to take out enemies. So kind of an ability that you didn't necessarily want to use a lot, but it could come in handy for, crowd control and that sort of thing, because it hit all the enemies. So that is something lacking in this game. But even though they took out player abilities, they did not make the game harder. They tuned the difficulty so that... I don't actually know if enemy stats are diminished, but like they took out a lot of different detrimental effects, and they replaced things like the gold needle that prevents you from, or that turns you back to normal after getting stoned, or antidotes that heal you from being poisoned, and just turn those into a catch-all item that heals everything. So those became much more common. I think ethers which refill your magic points, became a lot more common. And I do think they tuned damage values and enemy hit points and that sort of thing to make them less taxing and difficult. So Final Fantasy IV got kind of neutered a bit in America. Is it a monster? I guess we'll find out. Alright, here we go. It's gonna be the first boss battle, and the music is gonna be awesome, so just you wait. It's worth getting into this fight, even though it's a horrible thing that I do now. It's worth it just for the music. And I think this is the first Final Fantasy boss to introduce the idea of a multi-phase boss. I don't think any of the previous bosses really had that. I mean, yeah, you fought like the Emperor twice or whatever in Final Fantasy II, but this is a boss that actually transforms midway through, and that's a gimmick they use a lot in here. Here we go, he turned into mist, it turned into mist, she turned into mist, I don't know. So at this point, if you attack the mist, you'll be very sad, so you shouldn't do that. So it's kind of a surprise the first time you come across this, but once you know the trick, then it becomes kind of boring because you just sit here parrying. La-di-da. But some of the multi-phase battles have unique mechanics to them. Ah, I don't even know who said that. It was the narrator. I want to pretend it was Alan Rickman's voice, speaking from the great beyond. Anyway, there's a boss that I will definitely not get to in this game, in this playthrough. What was she called in America? Valvalis? Barbaricia, one of the four fiends, who goes into like a tornado attack and will destroy you if you try to attack her, but if you use Kane's Dragoon Jump, it will interrupt her spin and cause her to become vulnerable again. So they do some pretty cool stuff with your character abilities and with the boss design and so forth. There's a lot of creativity, a lot of breaking new ground in this RPG. So even though it's, you know, like I said, this version is greatly simplified, it still did so much that you'd never seen in any RPG, like especially if you were playing computer RPGs, which were much more direct and straightforward, you know, like Wizardry or something. Lots of dungeon crawling. This game integrated a lot of story elements like this. Your good guys just wrecking the hell out of a town full of innocent people. Man, can't even feel good about this. Fortunately, there's a fireproof girl up at the top. She will not be hurt because she's wearing her asbestos underwear. This game was made before they started to strip asbestos out of public homes. Unfortunately, Mommy was not wearing an asbestos dress. Oh, whoops, that was us. Sorry that we killed your mom. Oopsie. Kind of feel bad about that. Man, and then Kane is just like, let's kill a baby. This is some heady stuff, actually. Kane's like, mostly I just want to bone your girlfriend, so let's betray the king. But after all that talk, the girl's like, no, I don't quite trust you because you killed my mom. I guess I can understand that. But this is when here's cutscene magic. Like, I'm gonna fight her. Come on. That's just douchey. Cutscene magic, where characters do more than they can actually achieve in battle in the actual game. So the package is delivered. Oh, SNES Central says, did you turn up the battle speed? I did not. I should probably do that. Right, that was the other thing about Final Fantasy 2/4 that was so cool. It introduced the active time battle system, and it was basically a turn-based battle system that emulated a sensation of real-time action, which was pretty cool. Oh wow, I've been playing for half an hour. Hi everyone. If you are just tuning in now, I'm Jeremy Parrish for US Gamer, playing through one of our 25 favorite Super NES games in celebration of the Super NES's, what is it, 25th anniversary? Yes. And let's go fast and stereo, yes. Let's change that background color to searing pink? No, wait, no. Maybe like a mellow green. Yeah, man. That's nice. Kind of frog colored. When I get turned into frog status, you won't even be able to see Cecil. Oh, I guess I should try saving again, even though it's futile. Right, so anyway, the active time battle system. Each character has turns, and those turns come up and the character flashes. You don't really notice it here because there's just Cecil. But this would become a mainstay of the Final Fantasy series until Final Fantasy X, which took the series back to a turn-based, like a strict turn-based system, just to freshen things up, I guess. But the I think the combat system designer was Hiroyuki Ito, who is working on Final Fantasy 15, and I think is largely responsible for Kingsglaive these days. But the inspiration for Final Fantasy IV's combat system came from Ito's love of NASCAR racing. Like, he's this gigantic American sports nerd. I interviewed him once at Square Enix's headquarters. It was like 4 or 5 years ago, 5 years ago, I guess. And I was really looking forward to just, talking about the nitty-gritty of game design and RPG combat and like the philosophy of what makes a great RPG. And for like the first 15 minutes of our interview, he didn't even let me ask a question. He just wanted to talk about football. I'm like, I'm really sorry. I don't care about sports. I feel like I was a huge disappointment to him because he wanted to like talk about his favorite sports teams. He was like, "Oh, you're from San Francisco? Cool. What about the Giants? What about the 49ers?" I was like, they play games, ball things, something. Anyway, we eventually talked about RPG stuff. But yeah, like Ito's a huge nerd for American sports, and that was, curiously enough, the inspiration for Final Fantasy IV's combat system. The idea was that the way your turn meter fills, it's invisible in this game, but you see it in later games. The turn system, like each character is kind of racing, and if your turns are going fast enough, if you have like a high speed rating or there's a speed spell on you, you'll quote unquote lap other characters. So it's kind of a weird, unexpected little source of inspiration for a Japanese RPG, but it's pretty cool. And it's just always interesting to see where these inspirations come from. Oh hey, it's that guy, but he's not Baigen. He just looks like Baigen. Wait, wasn't Baigen wearing red? Okay. Well, anyway, let bygones be bygones. This guy is an officer, and this is where it's really helpful to have Cecil's dark wave attack from the original version of the game, because you can smack all of those dudes and take damage, deal damage to all of them at once. It's great for crowd control, like I said before, but here you have to fight each of them individually. And if you take out the soldiers before the officer, then the officer runs away, and that's lame. So I'm going to take care of the officer first. Take care of the officer, because I'm not a gentleman. And the soldiers only attack when the officer says attack, because they evidently have no spines of their own. But, once you thin down the ranks, then it's no big deal, because they don't hit very hard. Cecil is the badass Dark Knight with cool armor and stuff, and those are just scrubs. Oh, whoa, he got critical there. I think this officer should die soon. That would be great. Man, this is combat at max speed. Imagine if I had turned it all the way down to slow. If you turn the battle speed down to slow, it actually becomes very similar to a turn-based RPG. If you're the kind of person who plays turn-based RPGs very slowly. That guy's soaking up the hits. I guess I've got to use an item. Look, I get to use a second menu item. Whoa, crazy. Let's go, Cecil. And I can keep doing this all day. I think if you kill the officer, there you go, you win the game, right? Actually, I don't know if that guy will attack again, but I kind of don't care. He's an idiot and I killed him. But I got a lot of experience for killing that dude. And it's going to impress the girl. She's going to be like, wow, you took out the officer before the soldiers? You're a master tactician. The way to a girl's heart is to kill random guys in the middle of the night. And now I have a collar. So again, this is really doing the Final Fantasy III job structure system. So Cecil is a Dark Knight, Kain was a Dragoon, and she's a collar, which, you know, in Final Fantasy III DS, I think they called that Evoker. But later in the game, she disappears for some sort of weird time warp and comes back as a full, what do you call them? Do I have one of these? I don't know. Hey, I can't afford that. I'm gonna buy a carrot though, because why not? Yeah, she comes back as a full summoner. So it's just like the way you can train up different job classes in Final Fantasy III. So it's pretty cool that they basically said, hey, what if we took this kind of freeform game, and oh, that was an important clue, and turned it into something with a more structured narrative, and kind of thought about how these elements would fit into a story. So I'm digging Final Fantasy IV. Such a great game. Even in this version. Wow, that was worth $10,000. Someone put their $10,000 potion in a random jar, and I stole it, because I'm a Dark Knight. Rydia, you're going to become an archer. And I think I need to buy a whole bunch of those. Yeah, there we go. Alright. So let's put Rydia in the back row. Cecil in the front. And equip her with something better than a rod. "21 arrows should be enough. Look at her amazing stats. 30 hit points, 8 attack. Wow. She's going to be an invaluable member of the party. I can just tell. Anyway, it was nice of that lady standing at the bridge to give me advice on putting Rydia in the back row. Like, that was something that I did not need with Kain in the party, but with that sad little marshmallow of a girl, I'm definitely going to need to protect her. Let me check and see what equipment she has. I forgot this is not one of the games that is like the later Final Fantasies where it gives you actual useful information. Okay, cap, leather, iron ring, so looks like I'm okay. Yeah, alright. So I'm geared up, and it's time to head out and kill some monsters. And this is the point at which, even in this version of the game, you kind of have to wander around for a little bit and hope Rydia doesn't die. Because she is very fragile. But if she actually connects with stuff... wow, look at that! She's in the back row, and she still got hit really hard. And she also missed the attack. So, not really pulling her weight yet. Come on, Rydia, step it up. Now, if Cecil were a paladin, he could protect her, but he's not. He's a Dark Knight, and he's a jerk. So he's just gonna let this little girl die. Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I sure hope she doesn't get hit before I can parry again. Oh, she's dead. Yep. Goodbye, Rydia. It was nice knowing you. And there is no Phoenix down. So that was, oh... Man, I tell you what. That was a big waste. So, back to the town to bring poor, sad little Rydia back to life. Rydia, oh, have you seen Rydia? Oh, she's not dead, she's merely swooned. 50 gold points. It's more gold points than she has hit points to restore. What shenanigans are these? Oh, and it looks like there's a bunch of people talking in the chat. I'm really sorry. I've been just kind of immersed in this video game, watching little girls die. So I've been ignoring the chat. But hi, everyone who is chatting in the chat. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for watching. I feel like Final Fantasy IV is not really the most exciting video to watch, the most exciting game to watch. So thanks for participating in this viewing of Final Fantasy as I wander around. Of course, the encounter rate never cooperates with you. Maybe it's that area that's enemy-free. There we go. So anyway, you get to watch me grind for a while. Okay, even Rydia can handle these people. That's how pathetic the imps are. But of course, Rydia, since she's using arrows, has a limited number of attacks. And she seems to miss about half the time. So that's great. Just throwing my money away. Every attack is worth 10 gil, kiddo. That money doesn't grow on trees. Except, of course, when you kill an enemy that resembles a tree, in which case, yes, the money did grow on a tree. This seems bad for Rydia. Let's parry again. I guess I could have lightning attacked all of those dudes. Oh, that's better. There's some real variability to the attack values in this game. 10, 1, 4... Hopefully this will bump her up to level 2, because she could sure use the help. Right on. 1 level. Okay, now I have magic. 2 levels. Now I have other magic. That's useful. What spells does she know? Let's find out. So she literally knows... That's it. Cure Ice, and there is a Chocobo. Maybe I should use Cure, because this is one of those really stingy games that doesn't refill your health and your magic points when you level up. How lame is that? Alright, Rydia. You can probably survive an entire round of combat now. Let's see what Ice 1 does. I wonder if it's as good as Ice 9. Rydia. Oh man, and they just siphoned her magic points. That is not cool. I can't even call it Chocobo. Man. Oh, poor Rydia. This is a cruel world for a tiny girl, tiny orphan with green hair. First her mom gets killed, then the next day some bug steals all her magic points. At least she gets some levels up, whatever. Alright, so it's back to the end for me, if I can find it again. There we go. This is like getting started in an early Pokemon game, where you have like 2 creatures and they keep getting savaged, and you have to keep going back to the Poke Center, and it's just so time-consuming. So there's a lot of discussion I see in the chat about the different versions of Final Fantasy IV, or 2 if you prefer. This version is probably, just in terms of like technical considerations, the best version that was ever published in the US. Like, it just runs perfectly because it's, you know, the original hardware. Every other version has been reprogrammed or emulated and is a little iffy, but every other version restores the actual content as it was supposed to exist. Whereas this version of the game, you know, has stuff missing and a lot of rebalancing that makes it super easy, and the translation reads like someone just tossed the game script into Google Translate. So I can't really recommend this as the optimum version. It's a good historic curio, but if I were to introduce someone to Final Fantasy IV, I would not say, oh yes, please go play the game or the Super NES version, because it's incoherent and super easy. Unless, of course, it was someone who needed a really easy RPG and didn't understand English very well. I am actually a big fan of the Game Boy Advance version, Final Fantasy IV Advance, even though the... oh, right, those guys. I can't hurt them with Cecil's Dark Sword. But I can hurt them with Cure Spells. Kill them with Love. Well, that didn't go over so well. So Cecil kind of sucks here. It's not very useful. And I don't have that many cure potions, so I don't want to waste them. And of course, she'd be great with fire spells, but she doesn't like fire because of the fact that her mother was destroyed with fire. Anyway, Final Fantasy IV Advance is pretty rad. It was the first of Square Enix's, that was a waste of magic spells, their remakes for Game Boy Advance. Well, actually, I guess Final Fantasy 1 and 2 came out before that, but it was kind of eh. But it does this one thing at the very end of the game that is really cool. It allows you to bring the entire party into battle, which is something that you could not do in the original game. Like this game, and every other version of Final Fantasy IV, basically you have a fixed party of the same 5 characters at the end. But Final Fantasy IV Advance, good god, this is just grinding. Well, I'm out of magic spells, so this may have been a gigantic waste. Alright, you can do it. Well done, Cecil. Way to deliver that killing blow of a single point. Alright, hopefully lightning will help, and now I have to go back to the... gotta go back to the inn again, because Rinny has no spell charges. I don't know what the secret of mana is, but she has none. She also sucks at shooting things, even after a few level ups. So yeah, I was talking about Final Fantasy IV Advance. That was, it has some problems, like the music sounds janky, and the American version is super glitchy. There's this weird active time battle system bug where sometimes characters just don't get a turn. They ironed that out for the European version, so if you play that, that's probably the way to go. It has the good translation, like they retranslated it from scratch, and ironed out the bugs, and restored all the content, and then they added new stuff like a side quest for Sid at the end of the game, where you have to like fly people around as a taxi service on the world map, taking them to different towns. It's really weird, but it was just so out there that it was a lot of fun. Tosei developed Final Fantasy IV Advance, and they actually did all the Advance games, and they always added stuff to that, and also to Chrono Trigger for DS. But I think Final Fantasy IV was the only game where the new stuff really worked and wasn't just a tedious grind. There was like an extra dungeon where you could just fight and fight and fight. There was, yeah, I don't remember everything, but it was pretty cool. I liked it. So the European version of that is definitely the one to play. If you can't do that, there's always the... that was stupid. There's always the DS remake, which is an interesting take on Final Fantasy IV. It's sort of Final Fantasy IV for Final Fantasy IV experts. It's really, really hard, and there's a lot of new stuff, and there's this kind of weird system where you can give characters extra abilities and carry them through into New Game Plus, but then you're only allowed to do 2 New Game Plus rounds. So that's a little strange, but it's a pretty good game, so definitely check that out. And that doesn't look undead, so yes, I'm in business. SNES Central says Final Fantasy IV DS is freaking impossible. I disagree. It is really hard, but it's a game that really kind of builds itself around the assumption that you are familiar. Oh no, not Toad! Toad! So now she is stuck in Toad form until I guess I can use a curative item, or I can hope that another frog turns her back, but let's not do that. So of course in Final Fantasy IV, you would use a Maiden's Kiss to switch her back, but this is Final Fantasy II, where you just use the heal quotient and it takes care of everything. Anyway, Final Fantasy IV DS, definitely difficult, but you know, like I said, it's built around the assumption that you are intimately familiar with the original Final Fantasy IV, and it challenges you to change up your tactics and your approach to the game. And as someone who has played this game a lot, I actually really enjoyed that. I thought it was interesting. There were some problems to it, but I remember... What's the Toad attack? I remember playing, what was it, the battle with Dr. Luge, and it was an insanely difficult challenge, but once I figured out what I needed to do, it was pretty great. What? Oh, did I forget to do something? Damn it. Well, here's where Rydia comes in handy. Let's blast those fish away. I can't believe I forgot to do whatever the hell I'm supposed to do to get the old man on my party. I've totally forgotten. But anyway, I know that some of the DS remakes of the Final Fantasy games were kind of unpopular. Final Fantasy III is extremely unpopular among Final Fantasy III fans, but I really liked the 4 remake, even if it did have that weird augment system where you had to know in advance which augments to use on which characters and when. So it looks like every time I take out the guy in the front, when I move into the next attack, the guy in the second position is still considered in a back row, so Cecil's hitting him for less damage, and then he takes another round and is, I guess, considered front row. So every time my second attack is always for 30 hit points. Oh, whoops. Someone just pointed out that I have no reason to be in this cave right now, so that's my problem. I wasn't paying attention to what people were telling me, and I just wandered off, so even though I've played this game a lot, I don't remember anything about it. I remember the specifics of oh, this cave is very cool looking, or yes, here's how you fight this boss, but the game flow kind of slips to the side, and it looks like Rydia is out of arrows. So, son of a submariner, it's time to go buy some more. How many hit points does she have now? 89? Hot damn. She's a little tiny tank. It's like Princess Maker. I'm training up this girl to be a warrior. It's amazing. Alright, let's buy a crap load of arrows for Rydia. There. Sorry, I'm trying to remember how to use this game. There we go. Let's buy 40. Right on, okay. And we'll make one last stop at the end. Get Rydia's hit points and magic points back to maximum. And then I will go to wherever the hell I'm actually supposed to go. Okay, let's go. Now you have to imagine that everything Cecil says is in Mario's voice. Let's go! And wow, I've been playing for nearly an hour. Holy crap. So I'm just gonna keep playing because I haven't really done that much yet. What the hell am I supposed to do here? I cannot remember. Oh god. Video games. I want to go to the cave and fight with the old man. Oh right, re-equip. Good times. Oops, that wasn't what I wanted to do at all. Yeah, it's a bad idea. Do some... Oh, yeah, that was really worth it. You can do some interesting things here in this game that aren't really explained and aren't necessarily intuitive, but you mess around with menus and cool stuff happens, like you accidentally reproduce an item that you can only find one of 200 times. Good stuff. So let's see, this is where I came from. I can't go back that way. Everyone's dead. Oh, it's Duplito. Let's see how Ice does. Is he going to hit me with some sort of counterattack? No, he's going to die. There's some real variety in the enemies that show up here. Not necessarily like variety in terms of design or the formations you fight, just the levels of difficulty. Like those sandworms can be really nasty, whereas these guys, it's like, why do they even show up? Alright, there's literally only so many places I can go right now, so I really need to remember what the hell I'm doing. Let's hope this magic attacks harder now that she's leveled up a little bit. Nope. And he counters with Psych. I get it now. I should stop using magic against him. Yeah, one of these days we're going to take you to the target range and teach you how to use that bow and arrow. Oh right, I have to go talk to Rosa. Man, okay, see, this is not a game you can live stream. That's a bad idea. I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, so sorry for wandering around in the desert, lost. Just pretend that I'm John the Baptist. This is the John the Baptist stream. It's like I'm one of Moses' people wandering lost in the desert, except instead of eating manna, I'm just burning it. I just made a really good Bible joke, folks. That is the usgamer.net difference. Really, really weird, semi-literate jokes about the Bible and magic spells. I don't know. Alright, let's go meet Rosa, who is dead, or something. This is what I get for rushing through and, oh, I don't want to be here. Actually, yes I do. Alrighty. Alright, so I visited Naming Way, and our team is now properly renamed. And that's something they took out of Final Fantasy IV DS because they added voice acting, and I don't think that was a good trade. If I want my characters to be named Batman, then by God, she should be named Batman. Or he. Either one. So I guess maybe I should have gone up the stairs. No, was that not it? Nope, never mind. Was she in the house at the back? Ah! This is why I never play video games around other people, because I forget things. My memory is spotty and unreliable. Ah, yes, she was kept from falling down. She kept calling a name. Do you know Batman? Batman! Wow, this game is now like 5 times better just because of the name changes. I realize that ridiculous character names are the lowest form of RPG amusement, but sometimes you just gotta. Anyway, we have now hit the 1 hour mark, and I'm still streaming Final Fantasy IV. By golly. So now I have to go get the ruby, and I think I do that by going through the cave where the old man's standing guard. Because I sure didn't see any other places to go in this area. Do another fuel save. Done. Ah, the encounter rate's never low when I need it to be low. Where'd he at? I mean, target. Actually, I probably shouldn't call her target since she can never hit targets. Kid, you are disappointing me. Oh, she actually hit something. I think that was a first for the stream. Really? That was it? Let's leave. Took me a second to remember how to run, but I got out. Bye, Cracky. I had the dark sword before, man. What the hell? Alright, now an old guy is in my team. So as I was saying, it's the hour mark. I'm Jeremy Parrish for US Gamer, playing Final Fantasy II as part of our top 25 games of all time, Super NES games of all time countdown, because Super NES is 25 years old as of a week from today, actually. It launched in America the 22nd. Wikipedia says 23rd, but anytime you mention that, John Riccardi from 84 Translations, 84 Limited, will appear from nowhere to show you a receipt that he has kept since he was a child that is dated August 22nd, 1991. So that is when he bought the Super NES. So we have first-person evidence that Wikipedia somehow is wrong. I know that's shocking. I'm going to blow up that water bug from a distance. Just kidding, she's not actually going to be able to hit it. Oh my goodness, Rydia! So apparently, if you know magic, you don't know how to kill things. SNES Central says he found a news article that said August 21st. So, what was John's problem? Oh, water bug, no! Swear to God, Cecil is like babysitting an army of incompetents. It must be so frustrating for him. I just want you to kill things. Is it so hard? Is it so much to ask for? Did I go up and get that chest? I can never remember. No, I didn't. Okay. I can do this. That's the way. At least Tella has a lot of hit points. Actually, he has way more hit points than Cecil. Should be my meat shield. You know, I would think that if I were going to wander into a cave full of monsters, I would put on some armor. But then again, I'm not 120 years old and senile, so maybe Tala deserves a little forgiveness. I feel like if I cast magic on that water bug, it's going to zap me back. I seem to remember that. So I think I will avoid doing that. This, what a surprise. Well, let's see what happens. The worst that can happen is I can die. That worked out okay. I just realized that Tella is actually Bernie Sanders as a mage. So that's your incisive political commentary for this stream. Like 2 weeks late. All right. I'm making slow progress through this cave. Cave of Wonders. But on the plus side, you get to listen to this great music, so kind of hard to complain. And Tella's kind of handy here because he has so many magic points, although other characters can actually break the max MP that he has. There's a story reason why he ends up being kind of useless later on. Once you start getting the level 3 spells for him, you unlock all of those, suddenly he's pretty much useless because you can only cast them like twice. frickin' Tella. And I see my Bernie Sanders comparison has found traction in the chat, and there's actually a whole lot of comparisons being made. Larry David, I see. I really need to see Curb Your Enthusiasm someday so I can understand all of your Larry David jokes. I thought that I could hit select to change the leader sprite of my party, but it seemed... Oh, there we go. It's the shoulder buttons. Kind of like having the little kid in charge, though. It at least gives some justification to my wandering around aimlessly and getting lost a lot. Like, of course I do. I'm only 8 years old. What do you expect? Surprise! Helpful to know is that I believe in this game, reptilian enemies are classified as bug, which means that they are vulnerable to ice, if I'm not mistaken. Unless I'm forgetting something. No, that was a good hard hit. Anything to prevent toad status. Oh, people are dropping spoilers in the chat about Tella's long-term prospects as a character. Don't give it away for everyone. Not that I'm actually going to make it to his death scene, but still. This is such a good RPG. I'm glad it made the list. If it had been something like Lagoon, I'd have been really sad. Whoa, Rydia! Gotta watch that encounter rate. Time for a little science. Which hits harder, lightning or ice? Lightning hit for like, or ice hit for like 70. Lightning hits for half that. So, yep, ice. Reptilian bugs. Bug tiles. Bugphibians. Isn't there a hidden passage around here? Oh well. It's a mandatory rest. This is one of the few times that having a guest in your party is really helpful. He actually contributes something. So I think I'm going to have to change Tella's name to Alfred. Right, forward we go. And I actually may have to end this stream fairly soon because I'm getting a horrible crick in my neck, which is a really weird reason to end a stream, but that's the way I have my television relative to my to where I'm sitting. It's just up a little bit too high. I forgot to save. And you know, now that I think about it, I think maybe this cartridge has a new battery in it. I need to go back and check the details on it. I just recently purchased it for the stream, specifically, actually, because I'm ridiculous like that. And may have had the battery replaced, which is why it didn't have any save files on it. So maybe these save files I'm creating are not totally futile. My original really cool vision for Final Fantasy IV was to play the game for an entire day on a live stream back when the game turned 25, which was like 2 months ago. But the realities of actually having a job, even if it does revolve around video games and classic games, kind of prevented that from happening. I don't think I could have really justified to my bosses, like, oh yes, I did nothing today except play Final Fantasy IV on the internet. I think they would have given me the stink eye or the pink slip or something. So I'm seeing the same enemies, but look, now that I've changed floors, I'm seeing the same enemies in different groupings. It's very exciting. Oh, and it looks like Cecil's NASCAR has lapped Tella's. He got 2 turns for one of Tella's. Why did I even bother? I'm trying to ration out damage based on enemy or the character's different damage potentials, but since everyone except Cecil misses, it's pointless. It's completely useless. They really need to start pulling their weight. Nah. Oh, someone pointed out that I picked up an ice rod. I'm going to give that to Rydia, because she does not have very much magic. Oh wait, can she not use rods? Yes, she can. Alright. So now she can cast free magic spells. Thanks, person in the chat. Deter Lavos? Yes, thanks for that. It seems like it could be trouble. Those little guys are going to turn me tiny, aren't they? How do I use an item? There we go. Well, that wasn't so helpful. Oh! Oh! That little bastard. Alright, so ice spells, not much good against tiny mages. Deter Lavos, you have done me no favors. Seems like it's a lot of trouble to not get much damage output. Oh, for the love of it. So I've decided I hate tiny mages. Yeah, you're not looking so good. Okay, that was grueling. Someone pointed out that the 1 damage Rydia did with her ice rod is more damage than she would have done with her bow and arrow, but on the other hand, if she had missed with her bow and arrow, I wouldn't have been hit with that counterattack, so yeah, not really an advantage. And thanks to the magic of RGB out, I can actually see the color difference here where the hidden passage is. That's pretty cool. I'd never noticed that before. Ah, more zombies. Oh no, I've dropped money. Whatever will I do? There's something that I missed over here that was important. No, not really. Not really sure what that passage was good for. I really need a command macro for that ice rod. Okay, so I'm almost through the cave, I think. Maybe not, but at least I get this cool parallax scrolling effect. And more zombies. Hopefully the ice rod will work against the alligator, which, being a reptile or amphibian, is probably tagged as a bug. Yes. Ready has finally proved her value in battle. Someone is recommending my characters commit suicide, so I guess you're not really enjoying the stream. Oh. That was not that useful. Let's see how well Cecil fights as a frog. Not so great. Don't. Well, at least Rydia can still use a ice rod as a toad. I guess that's good. Not really sure what the logistics of that are. And Batman's back at near full health again, too. Is this a save room? Oh, the monster's back there. Okay. Grab those puppies and I like that all of Cecil's weapons sound so goth. I'm equipped with darkness. Did I mention my cry? Okay. I think it's a pretty quick jaunt from here to the dreaded Mom Bomb. No, wait, not Mom Bomb. Octomam, that's what it is. Alright, so I'm going to fight this dude, or lady, or whatever it is. Oh, wait. I'm not done yet. I got confused. I was thinking of the battles you fight while you're falling down the waterfall in Final Fantasy VI. My bad. guess the alligator is as terrible in combat as Rydia and Cecil are. So I made a joke about the cure, but no, actually, Cecil is more like Morrissey. Joke stolen directly from Mystery Science Theater. Alright, almost there. So close, I can taste it. I can't actually taste it. Probably tastes pretty gross. And more darkness enters Cecil's life. He truly is becoming the Batman. Alligator is getting quite a few attacks. His NASCAR is fast. Nice, that darkness sword is good for something. Ooh, someone wants me to keep going until I get to the Spoony Bard. I don't know if I have the energy for that. I'm an old man, like Tella. Well done, Batman. These guys require magic. I'm not going to waste my magic with them. And Batman is now shrouded entirely in darkness. Do this thing. Let's see if I can die horribly in the first major boss fight. I don't feel like getting turned into a toad, so let's just skip along, shall we? Those guys are also annoying. Alright, there we go. Time to fight an octopus. Hi everyone. If you're just tuning in at the hour-and-a-half mark, I'm Jeremy Parrish, about to fight an octopus for usgamer.net, celebrating the Super NES's 25th anniversary by playing a lot of Final Fantasy II, Final Fantasy IV, whatever you want to call it. And I'm about to destroy an octopus. Dismantle it one leg at a time. I think I'm going to fight slightly less efficiently than I could by reserving Rydia's... Whoa! Actually, by curing Rydia, because she just got smacked hard. But when she attacks, she'll use the Ice Rod, because that's what cool people do. Save their magic points for healing. This octopus seems very indifferent to the fact that I'm slowly dismembering it. feel like it would be more stressed out about that. Maybe the ice rat's not so useful. Let's see if chocobos can attack on water. Quite aquatic. And that wraps it up for the Octopus. And I think that's going to wrap it up for this stream, too. I am an old person, and I only have so much stamina for extended live streams. So I think I'll save and hope that it actually records. And if it does, maybe I'll continue playing this on a stream some other time. But for the moment, I think that wraps it up. So thank you everyone for joining this live stream as I played through a big chunk of Final Fantasy IV for your amusement. This has been a US Gamer stream. I'll be streaming again tomorrow morning, actually. Another Super NES game. It will be... what will it be? F-Zero, I think. So you can tune in for that and see how horribly I race. It's not going to be a pretty sight. But thanks again for watching, and you can check out the archive of this video and all of our previous Super NES streams on our YouTube channel or at usgamer.net. And stay tuned. You can check the schedule also at usgamer.net to see what video streams we have coming up this week. And I think that wraps it up. So thanks again. Take care. Goodbye.